In episode 18 of the CySec101 series, we are going to go through WireShark, the basics of the WireShark tool, and this is a part of the networking module of the Cybersecurity 101 pathway of TryHackMe. And so far, we have done the primary 4 rooms, so networking concepts, essentials, core protocols, and secure protocols. And today we're going to go through the basics of WireShark. In the next episode, we're going to go through the basics of TCP dump and then the basics of Nmap in the following episode after that. And this is all a part of the networking module of the Cybersecurity 101 pathway. So it's going to be a good one. I think you're going to get a lot of value out of it. And let's jump into it. This episode is brought to you by the Hackaholics Anonymous membership community, which is the premier YouTube community for security professionals and hackers. And as a member of the community, you will get access to 4 tiers of memberships and 4 tiers of perks. It starts with the Cyber Supporter, goes to the Cyber Agent, Cyber Guardian, as well as the Cyber Master. And the Cyber Supporter is our beginner group, and you get access for a Discord community, which gives you access to me and access to all of our advanced members as well. You'll get early access to content and a few other cool perks. And then you get access to the advanced memberships, which is the Cyber Agent all the way to the Master, which gives you Python automations every single month. You get access to your own Discord servers, as well as exclusive content, exclusive downloads, and of course, live streams with me. And some of the exclusive downloads would actually be the Security Plus training that's coming up, and the practice questions, the notes, as well as the practice examinations that comes with that. So there's a lot of perks available for people of all levels. And if you wanted to join, you can join through the link in the description below. You can join through our main YouTube channel and just click the join button, or you can just go to youtube.com/@hankhackshackers/join, and you'll be taken to our join page. Now, without further ado, let us jump into the WireShark basics room. WireShark is an open source tool, and it's cross-platforming and works on every operating system. And it's a packet analyzer, so it's a network packet analyzer tool that's capable of sniffing, which is used for ethical hacking and pen testing, and also investigating live traffic, as well as investigating packet capture files, which are known as PCAP files. And it's commonly used as one of the best packet analysis tools because it's open source and it's kind of an industry standard. A lot of people use it because it's very functional and it has a graphic interface. And then there's also a command line version of it, which is called TShark. Now in this room, we're going to look at the basics of WireShark, and we're going to use it to perform some fundamental packet analysis functions. I've already started our virtual machine, which will give us access to it. And then we're going to use this, if you wanted to actually do it via SSH or RDP, you actually don't need to, because it literally provides this split screen view as soon as you click the start machine button. Now, what's interesting is that this is unfortunately only available to subscribers that can actually deploy virtual machines here. So you would need a paid membership, but the paid membership, literally there's a discount link in the description below that'll take it from $12 to $5. So it's like, it's already inexpensive, but when you use the discount link, it even becomes more accessible to everybody. So that's one of the cool things about it. But if you don't have a TryHackMe paid membership, you can just download WireShark. It's open source, it's free to download, and then you can use it to analyze some sample PCAPs and things like that, and just go through the motions the way that I'm going to go through them. There's going to be 2 capture files that we're going to use in this exercise. There's the HTTP1 PCAP to simulate the actions shown in the screenshots that we're going to see later on, and then we're going to obviously need the exercise PCAP to answer the questions at the very end of this. So the very first question is which file is used to simulate the screenshots, which is the http1.pcap. And then we have the which one is used to answer the questions, which is the exercise PCAP. So those are the 2 questions for our introduction here. So let's actually jump into the overview of the WireShark tool. There are a lot of cool use cases for WireShark. It is the most potent traffic analyzer tool available in the wild, as it says. And these are some of the main use cases. So detecting and troubleshooting network problems like a network load failure point and congestion in your network. You can also detect security anomalies such as rogue hosts that may be on your network, or abnormal port usage and suspicious traffic that's happening. You can also investigate and learn protocols and the details of those protocols, like the response codes and payloads that may be attached to any given transaction or conversation that is done via your network ports. It's not an intrusion detection system, so keep that in mind. It only allows you to discover and investigate packets in depth. It doesn't modify packets. It reads them. So modifying packets is a completely different tool. For example, Burp Suite could be one of those things. Therefore, detecting any anomaly or network problem highly relies on the analyst's knowledge and investigation skills. So this is very important for us to understand. This is strictly an analysis tool, and it relies heavily on your abilities and your knowledge as the security analyst and the investigator. Now, we have the GUI and the data that is associated with WireShark in general. So GUI, if you don't know, is the graphical user interface. And so this is kind of the term or the acronym that's used for everything. So Microsoft Windows, for example, has a GUI. What you're seeing right now is a GUI. It's a graphical user interface. It's not a command line. So a terminal would be a command line tool. WireShark has a GUI, and then the command line version of WireShark is called T-Shark. Now, it allows you to investigate the traffic in multiple ways. We have 5 sections that stand out at first glance, which is the toolbar, the display filter bar, recent files, capture filter interfaces, and status bar. So this is actually something that shows up when you open WireShark. And we also actually have a screenshot down here as well. So this is our toolbar at the top right here, very similar to the toolbar of any other software or tool that you've used. It has the file, edit, view, so on and so forth. Then there's the display filter, which is right here, that you can embed or type out your filters to actually, or not necessarily your filter, I guess it could be called a filter, or your parameters, your arguments to filter the packets. You would use this section to create your display filters. And then we have our recent files that would be on the very, very homepage right here. So welcome to T-Shark or welcome to WireShark. And then this is the most recent file that was opened up. This is the section that allows you to capture, filter, and available sniffing. Capture filter and available sniffing interfaces. I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense. So this is actually the capture filter that you see right here, that you can say what type of filtering you want to put upon your capture. And then down here is the interfaces that you can monitor and start capturing traffic from. And then what you will do once you've selected it, you would click this shark fin kind of up here, and it starts sniffing traffic. So for the purposes of this exercise, we're actually going to be looking at PCAP files, but you can actually do a live capture of data as we learned before. And at the very bottom right here, you have the status bar that shows you where you are in the status of this thing. And then once you've actually loaded the packets, you will see the number of packets always at the bottom. And then when you start filtering through the packets up here, the number will adjust down here to show you how many packets are associated with the display filter that you've generated up there. And this is exactly what we can see right here on the right-hand side. So we have the overall view of this whole thing. And then from, we have the toolbar, we have the display filter, we have the recent files, which are the ones that we're going to be using. And then we have the capture portion as well as the status bar at the bottom right here. So all exactly the same as we saw in the screenshot. Now, when we load a PCAP file, this is what it looks like. So you have the packet list right here, and then at the bottom in the status bar, we can see that there's 43 packets at the bottom right here. So we can see that right there, and there's 43 that's displayed, and that's very important to understand because there's no display filter that's been assigned here. But if you do use a display filter, then you'll have 43 packets, and then it'll say, okay, 12 are displayed, so on and so forth. And then you have the packet file name, which is HTTP1, which is also available at the top right here, HTTP1 cap file. So this is generally what it looks like when you load the packet. And then we have the coloring of the packets, which is actually an interesting little feature that makes it very useful in my opinion. So there's the color packets that show you in order of different conditions and the protocol to spot anomalies in protocols and captures quickly. This split explains why most everything is green in the given screenshots because they're healthy packets. This glance-at packet information can help track down exactly what you're looking for during analysis. You can create custom color rules to spot events of interest by using display filters, and we will cover them in the next room, in the next portion. I guess this is for the WireShark basics. So technically we are inside of the networking module, but there's a series of rooms for WireShark, and I believe they're referring to that room, which is the next room in the WireShark series. If you're interested in that, there's actually a series of videos on WireShark that I've done. I'm doing this specific review of this particular room from the perspective of Cybersecurity 101. And I'm gonna do a more detailed breakdown of this compared to what we saw in the original recording of this particular room. So if you've been a part of this channel for a while, you may already recognize this room and the contents of this room. But what they're referring to in the next room is the next room in the WireShark series. And if you want to watch that, you can go ahead and find that by just searching for WireShark inside of the channel's video content. So WireShark has two types of packet coloring methods: temporary rules that are only available during a program session, and permanent rules that are saved under the preferences file profile and available for the next program session. You can use the right-click menu or view coloring rules menu. And this is interesting because I think I'm looking at the THM, the TryHackMe window in the dark mode, so we can't really see this part right here, but you can use the right-click menu or view coloring rules menu to create permanent coloring rules. The colorize packet list menu activates or deactivates the coloring rules, and then temporary packet coloring is done with the right-click menu or view conversation filter menu, which is covered in task 5 of this room. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. So these are the default permanent coloring methods that we see right here. So the ones in black right here, so let me see if we can go in a little bit. So the ones in black right here, you can see that this is bad TCP, and then it goes to the filter itself, which would be a bad TCP filter. So you have TCP.analysis flags and the TCP analysis window update. For example, you have the HSRP state change, you have spanning tree topology change, OSPF state change, and of course ICMP errors. So as you can kind of imagine, these are associated with errors, packets that have to do with errors. You have this light yellow right here, which is for the address resolution protocol packets. We have the pink, which is for pings, so ICMP packets that are relevant to the ping protocol or the ICMP protocol. Then you have the TCP reset, SCTP abort, TTL low or unexpected, and these are a little bit of concern. So these red packets are typically of concern. When you see a TCP reset packet, there should be something to kind of address or look into a little bit further. You have checksum errors, and these are available in black as well. So again, goes back to the concept of errors, but it's been organized with the red right here, which means that it is another one of those of note things. So basically anything that's in black or in red, typically I'm like, okay, we need to look at this a little bit further. If it's in the lighter colors, it's not that big of a deal. So server message block packets or HTTP packets, routing packets, TCP or UDP, so on and so forth. These things are the default packets, the permanent coloring rules that are assigned with it, and then you can modify them as you need to. But for the most part, this is what it kind of resembles, is that if you see black or red packets, it should be of note. You should look at it further depending on the exercise that you're doing or the goal that you have. A lot of your answers may actually be in there, but then there's a lot of stuff that's also in just regular packets that you tend to not worry about because of the coloring, but a lot of times your attacker, the person that's attacking your network, may be clever, and they may be resourceful enough to know that, hey, this is what the coloring in WireShark is like, so I need to do my activities in a way that these color codes don't apply to them. So it doesn't mean that only pay attention to the black and red packets. It just means that those are usually the ones that you would look at first. They're the kind of a little bit more of note, a little bit more critical, and then you still analyze the rest of your traffic. And then you need to use the various display filters and the various tools that are available within WireShark to find the answers that you're looking for. So traffic sniffing in this particular case is the blue button that we mentioned earlier to actually start capturing network traffic. The red button, as the stop kind of implies, will stop sniffing traffic, and the green button will restart if you wanted to restart the sniffing process. The status bar will also provide the used sniffing interface and the number of collected packets. So we can see this right here. So this is looking at the ENS5 interface right here. That is live capture in process. And then we have the number of packets. In this case, there's 5,041, and then displayed are 5,041 packets. If we wanted to read PCAP files, which are basically packet files, this is what we're looking at over here. And these are the screenshots that we're going to be using for reading of the PCAP file, which is the HTTP1 file that we're going to look at. So you can go into this by just doing use of the file merge menu to merge a PCAP with the processed one. When you choose the second file, WireShark will show the total number of packets in the selected file. Once you click open, it will merge the existing PCAP with the chosen one and create a new PCAP. Note that you need to save the merged PCAP file before you can actually start working on it. And so you can actually merge two PCAP files if you wanted to, and it would be done under the file merge menu, as you can see right here. And then this would be step number 2, where you select the second PCAP file. It'll show you how many 483 data records, which means that there are 483 packets with this one. And then you click on that, you click open, and the final step would be that you can see now the merged PCAP file has been renamed. So we can see right here, this is the original, this is the second one, and now this is the final one, which has been the merged file and has 526 versus this one just having 443, excuse me. So this one has 43, combined with the 483 will give us 526 packets in total. So if you wanted to look at the file details, then there's a lot of different ways to actually look at file details. So we're just going to look at this particular one. So knowing the file details is helpful, especially when working with multiple PCAP files. Sometimes you will need to know and recall the file details. For example, the hash of the file, the capture time, capture file comments, interface, and statistics to identify the file, classify, and prioritize it. So you can view the details by following the statistics capture file properties or by clicking the PCAP icon located at the left bottom of the window. So if we click on statistics and go to capture file properties, it will open this up for us, or you can just click that little button right there and it'll still do the same thing and it'll give you the file properties. So we have the file name, length, the SHA-256 hash value, the RIPE MD160, the SHA-1, and then you have the format of it, of where it technically came from. I guess it came from TCP dump potentially. The encapsulation was for the Ethernet, and then we have the snapshot length, and then you have the time that this thing was captured, and then the hardware. In this case, it's not known. The interface is also unknown, with the exemption of this link type, which is our Ethernet, and then just some general statistics. So the number of packets, the time span that it took to actually capture those packets, the average packets per second, average packet size, the number of bytes, and average bytes, so on and so forth. So a lot of these things are very, very tedious details, but if you are really doing a very deep dive in your investigation, a lot of this stuff will actually be useful to you. So the average time, for example, that it would be to capture a packet per second. So if you're getting very low packets per second, it means that it's a slow network, right? If you're getting a really high amount of packets per second, it could mean that it's a quick network, a fast network connection, or it could mean that you're under a DDoS attack, a distributed denial of service, and somebody's flooding your network with a bunch of packets. That could be one of the reasons. So there's a lot of different things that can actually be resolved, or a lot of things that you can find if you're looking for specific details. More often than not, you're not looking for those types of details. More often than not, you're looking for a specific IP address or something inside of these packets that you can search for to find. But sometimes you may actually need to look at details like this to try to get more file details for yourself. So what we're going to use is the exercise PCAP file to answer the following questions. So for example, the file comments, the total number of packets, and a SHA-256 hash value of the capture file. So now that I'm here, I'm just going to click on this, double click on that exercise PCAP, and it's going to open it up for me. It takes a couple of seconds, as you can see from the status bar down here. And then you can see also the number of files, the number of packets that are being generated. So the first thing that I can just pull is that the number of packets here is 58,620, and that was actually it right here. So 58,620 is the answer right there. So the next question is the capture file comments. So we can go to statistics, capture file properties, and then from here it'll open up this window right here, or we can just go all the way at the bottom right here, click on that little button, and it'll still open up the same exact thing for you. And just to kind of zoom in so you know what I clicked on, it's this thing. It's like a little notepad with a pencil. That's the thing I clicked on. So I'm going to click on that, and it'll open up the capture file properties for me. And I'm looking for the comments. So the comments is literally down here. There's a bunch of comments right here. And at the very, very bottom of the comment, there's the flag that says TryHackMe WireShark demo. And that is the flag that we're looking for here. So this is the capture file comments. It's at the very bottom of this data, the capture file properties. And then finally, we want the SHA-256, which is actually in that same thing that I just closed out. So SHA-256 value is right here. That's the SHA-256 value. So you can highlight this. Let's see if we can do it like that, and right click on it and copy it. And then you would be able to export or paste that into the question right here. So far, so good. We've been able to get all the information that we need, and we learned some cool things about the WireShark interface. So now, let's look at the dissecting of packets. So packet dissection. Packet dissection is also known as protocol dissection, which investigates packet details by decoding the available protocols and fields. WireShark supports a long list of protocols for dissection, and you can also write your own dissection scripts. You can find more details on that here, which is on the documentation for WireShark that is on GitHub. That's available for us here. So it is the boundary / WireShark. I don't know why I can't zoom in for it. There we go. So boundary / WireShark, which is at the very, very top right here. If I zoom in here for you, we can see that it is boundary / WireShark and then blob master doc . So that's where you can find it. But essentially, if you just go to boundary / WireShark, you can find this README file over here, which is very, very useful if you really want a lot of data, especially for packet dissection and writing your own scripts. Now, this section covers the WireShark using OSI layers, which you should already be familiar with, because we did talk about the OSI, the 7 layers of the OSI model, to break down packets and how to use these layers for analysis. It's expected that you already have background knowledge of OSI because we've covered it in the previous video, so you should be very much familiar with it. So here's what we can do with the packet details, or essentially kind of like a surface level view of this. So you can click on a packet, and in the packet list pane, open the details, and then double clicking it will just open it in a new window. A packet consists of 5 to 7 layers based on the OSI model and essentially the contents of the packet. We're going to go over all of them in the HTTP packet from a sample capture, and this will show the packet number 27. So you can see right here that we have clicked on packet number 27 here. And let's get kind of a good view. Hopefully you can see all of this stuff. I'll zoom in as needed. So we can see there are 3 locations that we have this red box around, right? So the first one is just the clicking of the packet. So that's what it is. So we click on packet 27, and automatically at the bottom right here, we can see some sections. So we have frame number 27. So this is the very, very first section, and then you can expand that clicking on that arrow. Then we have the Ethernet layer, the IP layer, the transmission layer, and then we have some reassembled TCP segments, and then you have the HTTP layer, and then you have the line-based text data. So we're looking at an HTTP packet just based on the hypertext transfer protocol portion that we see here. And then we can obviously see the IPv4, the source IP address that you see right here, the destination IP address, a lot of these things. And then you can also see that in this line item right here. So this would be the source IP address. This is the destination IP address. You can see that it's an HTTP packet. And then you can see that this was, what is it? The length of it, the 214 kilobytes, I believe. And then these are just some general info about it, which means that it was a successful request. So a 200 response code means that it's a successful request. And then there's some text and HTML inside of it that if you wanted to expand these sections, you would be able to see some of that data. Now this, on this side right here, we can see the hexadecimal and binary equivalents of this thing. This is the hexadecimal on the side right here. And this, from what I understand, is binary on the side right here, but it doesn't look like binary. So let's say actually what we get from the description, from the explanations here. So we'll go over this. Okay, very good. And so we can see here, so let me zoom out a little bit and let me make sure that we actually have the details as we need. So each time you click a detail, it will highlight the corresponding part in the packet bytes pane. So this is the packet bytes pane. So I guess those are bytes, not necessarily binary. Let's have a closer view of the details pane. So if we look at the hypertext transfer protocol, HTTP, we can see 7 distinct layers. So frame, packet, source, which is the MAC address, the source IP, protocol, protocol errors, application protocol, application data. Below, we'll go over the layers in more detail. So the frame meaning frame number 27, the packet number 27 that we got. So the very, very first one, which is frame number 27, you just open this thing up, and then this is a bunch of data that you see inside of it. Now inside of this, you can, we're not going to get too much explanation on this, but essentially it's going to say that you're looking at the frame packet that you're looking at and the details specific to the physical layer of the OSI model, which is layer number 1. So physical layer will give you, for example, the Ethernet data or the Ethernet, the fact that it's an Ethernet type. The physical layer, if you can remember from the OSI model, we're looking at things like the wiring and, for example, the actual Ethernet connection or maybe the Wi-Fi that was used for this particular packet capture. So the frame number, frame length, capture length, the frame is marked, no it's not. The frame is ignored, no it's not. The protocols in the frame are Ethernet type, IP, TCP, HTTP, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. This is like the most general data, the most generic data of this. And the one piece that's important or of note would be that it's on TCP port 80 and is HTTP as well as HTTP2 that we can kind of designate to this particular packet. The next one is going to be the source MAC layer. So now we're going into layer number 2, which is going to be our data link layer, right? And so in this, we get to see the source and destination MAC addresses, where you can see this right here. So this is a MAC address that you can see right here. And then you have the destination MAC address, which in this particular case seems to be a Xerox machine, that this is the destination MAC address for it, right? Then we have the layer 3, which is the IP protocol, the internet protocol, also known as the network protocol. So the network protocol will give us the source IP address as well as the destination IP address. We also get to see these are IPv4, so you can see Internet Protocol version 4. So these are the IPv4 addresses that we see right here. And then we have the TCP protocol as well. We have some checksum that has not been verified in this particular case, and then at the bottom it gives us a specific source and destination for protocols as well. And this is essentially general information as well, unless you break down these flags, and then you can kind of see the types of flags that are included in this, which is beyond the scope of this particular video. But for the most part, on layer number 3 is where you would get to see the source and destination IPv4 addresses, and this is all from the network layer of the OSI model. So if you remember, we do the physical, please do not throw sausage pizza away. So you have P for physical, D for data link, N for network, right, the network layer. Throw would be transport layer. So layer 4 is the details of the protocol, either UDP or TCP, and source destination ports. This is from the transport layer of the OSI model. So please do not throw, meaning the transport layer. So transmission protocol, the source number, which is source port 80, destination port 3371. We also get some other data about this thing, the sequence numbers as well, the flags that are also attached to this as well, which is a push and an acknowledgement flag that's attached to this. We can also see further sequence and acknowledgement and then timestamps, and then the payload that seems to be something attached to this, which is 160 bytes, or it could just be the payload of the actual data packet itself, the data itself that's being transferred. So transmission control is for transport. So of course it'll have data about the payload, whatever the data was that's being transported, right? So layer 4. And then protocol errors, this continuation of the 4th layer shows specific segments from the TCP that needed to be reassembled. So this one is actually just a continuation from the previous one. So we have 2 reassembled TCP segments, and then we can see that right here. Frame 26 is a part of this, and then we're on frame 27 right now. And then the segment count is 2. So this is these are a continuation. They're connected to each other. Frame numbers 26 and 27 are connected to each other. So frame 26 payload is from 0 to 1429, so for 1430 bytes, and then this one goes from 1430 to 1589, which is 160 bytes. So these two are combined. They're part of the same communication essentially. And then we have the application layer, or the application protocol, which is layer 5 in this case. And this will be under the session. So this will show, it's technically from the application layer of the OSI model, protocol, but If you wanted to look at layer 5, if you look at the actual OSI model, layer 5 is not application. Layer 7 is application. Layer 5 is technically session, but then when you look at the TCP/IP model, layer 5, 6, and 7 are all put under the application layer. So that's kind of what they're explaining over here. But this will show details specific to the protocol used, such as the HTTP, FTP, SMB from the application layer of the OSI model. And in this particular case, we're looking at the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is HTTP. So let's see if we can kind of zoom in on this a little bit more. So we have HTTP, we have the actual link, so Google ad services.com, page ads, so on and so forth. What else do we got? The content type here, the date that's associated with it, the request in the frame. So the request for this particular frame is frame 18. So for frame 27, the request for this data is in frame 18. The URI is the page at googlesyndication.com, and then file data in this particular case. So you have all of that. And then you have the application data. So the extension of the 5th layer to showing us specific application data, which kind of breaks down a little bit. I don't think it's a part of this. I think it was the very last portion of the packet itself. So line-based text data. And then we have the header. So this is actual the HTML header, and then the truncated data that's inside of it. So you can get a good amount of information from individual packets if you know what you're looking for, right? And then if you know how to also read these things. So if you wanted to see the request for this particular frame, you can go to frame 18 and then see the type of request, whatever the user actually sent out for the server to return this data to them. So now that we understand what a general packet is composed of, let's look at various application protocols and their specific details. So using the exercise PCAP file, we're going to look at packet number 38, which markup language is used under the HTTP protocol. So let's actually go look at packet number 38, and we can just go here, and there it is, number 38. You can open that up, and then under the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, they're looking at the markup language. It's actually right here. It's actually at the it's right underneath it. You don't even need to expand this. It's extensible markup language. So they're looking for which type of markup language is actually used, and that is the extensible markup language. Now it says, what is the arrival date of the packet? So the answer format, and that what we're looking for is under the arrival date information. I think it would be under our transmission control details. So let's see if we can find the arrival date for this. It was actually under the Hypertext Transfer Protocol section. And then right there you see date is May 13th, 2004. So this is the date of the packet right here. So that was the date that it arrived, so to speak. And so we can see that right here. So May 13, 2004 is the month, day, and the year. So that was actually found inside of the HTTP, the Hypertext Transfer Protocol section. So if you do that right there, this is the one that if we kind of broke it down or expanded this particular section, this is where it is. The date is right there. So the next one is, what is the TTL value, the time to live value? And the time to live value, I feel like is also here. So let me make sure that it actually, let me make sure it is before I tell you it is, right? No, that was in Internet Protocol version 4. That's in this section. And we see it right here, time to live. And that is 47. So that would be the value right here, TTL value, time to live. And then finally, what is the TCP payload size? So that should actually be, I remember that it was inside transmission control protocol. So if we go here, we should see it at the bottom with the payload. So payload is 424 bytes. TCP payload 424, which is the answer right here. And okay, so the E tag value. So that's the final thing that we need to look at. So let's get the E tag value, and the E tag value is also under the Hypertext Transfer Protocol portion, and we can see that right here. That's the E tag value, and this one you can just right click and then copy, and then go to copy value, and then it'll copy everything that's inside of these quotations for you right here, and then that will be the answer that you get right there. So far so good. Now that we've gone through the dissection of the packet, let's start doing some navigation. So packet navigation. WireShark will calculate the number of investigated packets, and it'll assign a unique number for each packet. This helps you process big captures and make it a little bit easier to go back to a specific point of an event, right? So we can see it right here. So you have the packet numbers 10 all the way to whatever, and then when you click on it, it actually gives you the frame number. The frame number is essentially the packet number that you see right here. And then at the very bottom of this, or not here, but if we look at the bottom of this piece right here, we can see the number, the total number of packets, so 58,620. So if I actually go all the way down to the bottom of this file, we'll see that we have 58,620 as our very last packet number. So that's how this thing is organized for us. And this is obviously from beginning to end of this particular capture. So packet 1 would be the beginning of the capture, packet 58,620 would be the end of the capture. Now, let's say let's say you have like millions of packets, right? So if you have a bunch of packets, you need to be able to go to an individual packet. And the way that you can do that is by using the option go to packet, right? Which is also, you can do it with Control G right here. So you just go to go and then go to packet, and then it'll open up a new little toolbar right here for you. And then you just type in the number of the packet that you want to go to, and it'll take you to that packet. So not only do they help count the total number of packets or make it easier to find and investigate specific packets, this feature not only navigates between packets up and down, it also provides in-frame packet tracking, and we can do go to specific packets like we just did right here. So apart from the packet number, WireShark can help find packets by the packet content. And then we can use this by edit find packet to make a search inside the packets for a particular event of interest. This helps analysts and administrators to find specific intrusion patterns or failure traces. There are two crucial points in this. The first is knowing the input type. The functionality accepts 4 inputs, which is the display filter, hexadecimal value, string, and regex, regular expressions. String and regex searches are the most commonly used to search as search types. Their searches are case sensitive, but you can set the case sensitivity in your search by clicking the radio button for don't be case sensitive, basically. The second point is choosing the search field. You can conduct searches in 3 panes, which is the packet list, the packet details, and the packet bytes. And it's important to know the available information in each pane to find the event of interest. For example, if you try to find information available in the packet details pane and conduct the search in the packet list pane, WireShark won't find it as if it doesn't even exist, right? Won't find it even if it exists. So you go to edit and find packet. You can also do Control F. So this one is very similar to just a regular find command. And then when you do this, you can see this portion right here that is brought up for you. And then we're looking in packet details. More often than not, you're looking in packet details. And then narrow and wide, I never change this. Case sensitivity, if you leave this off, it won't be case sensitive. It'll just be case insensitive. And then when you look for string, essentially you're just looking for anything, right? So for example, the download keyword right here is going to search through all of the packet details, every part of those layers that we just talked about. It's going to search through all of that for the word download. And then, for example, packet number 4 here, you can see just in the info portion right here that it says get download.html. So this is a HTTP request, it's a GET request, and it's getting the download.html page for us over there. And that's basically it, right? So it's very useful. This is actually very, very useful. I've solved a lot of I was going to say cases, but I've solved a lot of exercises by just going through the HTTP or the search, the find portion, the find function. I read something and I'm like, I've solved it by going through the HTTP. It's like, no, I solved it by using the find function. And then you can see that it gives you the get download, and it even shows you over here, and it actually even shows the download portion right here inside of the hexadecimal bytes portion. So this is the packet list view, this is the packet details view, and this would be the packet bytes view, as you saw over here, right? So there's packet list, packet details, and packet bytes. And for the most part, you always want to be in packet details so that it can search through all of the details here for you, unless you know exactly what you're looking for inside of the bytes. And for the most part, what you'll be doing is, if you're going to do packet bytes, you're going to use regular expressions, you're going to use regular expressions if you're going through packet bytes, because for the most part, you're going to be looking for some kind of a pattern. So we have now looked at how to find packets, and now we want to learn how to mark packets. So marking packets is another helpful functionality for analysts. You can find or point to a specific packet for further investigation by marking it. It helps analysts point to an event of interest or export particular packets from the capture. You can use the edit or right-click menu to mark or unmark packets. Marked packets will show in the black regardless of the original color representing the connection type. Note that marked packet information is renewed every file session, so marked packets will be lost after you close the captured file. So you can do this, edit, and then mark or unmark, mark all displayed, unmark all displayed, so on and so forth. And mark or unmark all displayed means if you have a displayed filter here, and you see something that has to do with a specific transaction, for example, let's say source IP. You want everything from a given source IP, and then you want to mark all of those packets from that source IP, and then you can go through that. And then once you have these things marked, you can either do, I want to see the next mark or the previous marked packet. And then you can do the same thing by either selecting it or doing a highlight. I think you can actually do a highlight like this too. So like that, yeah, there you go. So if you click on one, hold down the shift button on your keyboard and then click on the next one, it'll highlight everything in that range. And then you can right click and then do, oh, whoops. So I would need to actually do this and then do this. Let me see if I held it down. Nope, that doesn't work. So if I wanted to do this and then this, I would need to actually go to edit. And then from here, I would do mark or unmark packets. And I would do mark right here, Control M. And then it would mark all of these packets for me. And you can see that now they're in black. And then if I do this and then hold shift, do that again, and then do Control M, it'll unmark all of them for me. And there you go. That's what that looks like. So that is how you mark and unmark packets. And then we're going to go into packet comments. So packet marking, commenting is another helpful feature for analysis. So you can add comments for particular packets that will help the further investigation or point out important suspicious points for other layer analysts. So unlike packet marking, the comments can stay within the capture file until the operator removes them. So this is a persistent feature right here. So you can highlight a packet, right click and go to packet comment and add a comment, or you can go to edit and then packet comment and add a comment, and then you can start adding comments to it, and then that will be persistent. So if we go over here and let's go find the packet that they wanted us to look at, which was 38, I believe, right? This is the one that we were supposed to look at. And I think that is the one from what I remember. So let's see, 200 info. Let's say that this is the one, okay? We're just gonna assume that this is the one. We're gonna right click on it, and then we're gonna go packet comment, and then there we go. And then this was for the exercise, and then save that. And there we go, that's our packet comment. And then we can add that here. And if we open this up, somebody can potentially go ahead and look at it because we have the packet comment at the very, very top right here. And you can break that down. It says this was for the exercise. So packet comments are very easily accessible once you've actually added them to the packet itself. And then we have exporting packets. So capture files can contain thousands of packets. As mentioned earlier, WireShark is not an ADS, so sometimes it's necessary to separate specific packages from the file and dig deeper to resolve an incident. This functionality helps analysts share the only suspicious packages decided scope. So the packets that you think are relevant to your investigation, basically. So thus redundant information is not included in the analysis process. You can use the file menu to export packets. So export specified packets, and then you can do all packets, or you can do selected packets or marked packets, or you can just do a range between each one, and then you can go ahead and export them, and it'll create a new PCAP file for you that you can use for further investigation. You can also export objects. So you can extract files transferred through the wire. For a security analyst, it's vital to discover shared files and save them for further investigation. Exporting objects are available only for selected protocol streams. For example, DICOM, HTTP, IMF, SMB, and TFTP. So these are actual protocols that can include objects in them. For example, file transfer protocol, that's one of those things, or HTTP. These are types of protocols that can actually include objects, meaning files, right? So you can actually export them. So once you find something that may include a file in it, for example, if we go look at export objects for this given packet, which is 27 and 38, these are the ones that actually only include the packet. So if we go to export objects and go to HTTP right here, let me see if I can zoom in on this. So if we go to export objects and then use the HTTP protocol, it'll automatically show you which packets actually have something in them. And then so packet 27 and packet 38 in this particular case have something in them. And then you can just export the objects from those packets. Then we have time display format. So it lists all the packets as they are captured. So investigating the default flow is not always the best option. By default, WireShark shows the time in seconds since beginning of capture. So again, the very first packet is the first capture. The very first packet is the start of the capture, and then the last packet would be the end of the capture, and it goes in chronological order in that regard. The common usage is in using the UTC time format, the universal time format, for a better view. You can use the view time display format to change the time display format for your own specific view. So seconds since beginning of capture, time of day since then, automatic from capture file, so on and so forth. So you can change this. The common one seems to be that UTC date and time of day, and it'll give you that information. And the default is seconds since beginning of capture. That's the default when you load it. But if you want to change it to the most common usage, which is UTC, and then you can convert it to your given time zones to make it a little bit more applicable to you. So when you do default time display format, so seconds since capture, that's what you see right here. And when you do the UTC format, notice how it's actually changed. So let's zoom in. This is the time. This is the seconds since the beginning of the capture. That's what you see here. And then this is the actual universal time zone, universal time code that you see right there. So it's very, very different when you actually look at the universal time code versus the time right here. And again, just knowing that this is the seconds since the capture started is very useful. But then if you actually want the time, the exact on the dot time, you can just change it to UTC time display and it'll give you that. Expert info. This is very useful here. So WireShark detects specific states of protocols to help analysts easily spot possible anomalies and problems. These are only suggestions. There's always a chance of having false positives or false negatives. Expert info can provide a group of categories in 3 different severities. These are the group of categories we hear. So we have severity, so chat, information on the usual workflow, note, notable events like application errors or codes, warnings like unusual error codes or problem statements, and then error, problems like malformed packets. So this is the default right here that we can see over here. And then you can see the colors that are associated with it. Then you have frequently encountered information that are listed in the table that we can see right here. You can refer to the official documentation for more information. So checksum is a checksum error. The group is deprecated and deprecated protocol usage, meaning deprecated has been, I would say, is outdated. I think that's what deprecated kind of stands for. Let's search for Google for a specific thing. Past tense, yeah, deprecated, past tense, deprecated, past participle, express disapproval of, or I guess these are not relevant to us, but for the most part, deprecated would be it's past tense, it's old, right? That's what deprecated is. And then you have the comment, so packet comment detection, malformed packet detection. That's what the group that it falls on. And then you have the group right here. Oh, excuse me. So my apologies, my sincerest apologies. Checksums are not deprecated. Checksum is a group and it shows you a checksum error. Deprecated shows you deprecated protocols. Comment shows you packet comments. Malformed shows you malformed packets. My sincerest apologies. I thought this was all one line. I misread that, and I apologize for that. We can use the lower left bottom section in the status or bar analyze expert information menu to view all the available information. In a dialog box, it will show the packet number, summary, group protocol, and total occurrence. So you can click on it, do analyze expert information, or you can click on that dot that you see right here, this circle that you see right there, and I'll show that information to you. Both of them will bring you to the expert information portion for that given packet that you've selected. I believe it's for the specific packet that we've selected, or maybe I think it's showing us everything for the detailed, for the actual overall capture. So if I do this and do export information, I'll see that there is an error here that is for packet 9100. Yeah, so this is actually showing everything inside of the capture. It's not for any individual packet. When you click on export information, it shows you all the information for the actual capture. So this is packet 9100, this is packet 44,573, so on and so forth. These are all the errors that we have here, malformed packets. These are some more malformed packets. These are the warning packets that we see right here. There's a lot of warning packets, as we can see. And then we have note packets, chat packets, and of course comment packets. And this is the one that I added a packet or a comment to. This was 38 that I added a comment to. This one, number 12, says this is not a flag, this is not a flag, this is not a flag. That was the comment that they added to it. So we can see the ones that actually have comments to them as well. So that's what we have for that's it, export info. So that's it. All right, so now we have some questions here. So use the exercise PCAP to answer this. Search for the R4W string, the raw string in packet details. What is the name of artist 1? So we'll go here. We're going to go, or not go. Actually, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do Control F to make it easier. And then now we have this packet details narrow and wide. We're going to search for the string, and I'm going to go inside of this box and I'm going to do R4W, which is raw basically. And we're going to click find, and let's see what it gives us. And it brings us to packet 33,790. And so it says, what is the name of artist 1? So let's open this up and look at some of the data here. So this is a, what do we see? Port 80, so this is an HTTP packet. Let's close that. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, we have all this information. We need to go within the contents of this to get what they're asking for. So this is what we see right here. So this is the contents, and then we're looking for the first artist, right? The name of the artist 1. So artists right here is the title right here that we go down, and then we can look at the rest of the data. And let's see, artist, this is all textile, header, or header. And then let me see if I can find the actual artist 1. All right, so it's a little bit down right here. So where you can see begin content after ending the master header, we can see begin content, and then we come down here and the very first div, which is essentially the table right here that we can see right here. We have the div class story, href artist, php artist 1. And then we can kind of scroll to the right here. And then you can see the H3 value, meaning that everything that's inside of these two little brackets right here, that's the actual content of this. And so it's R4W8173. That is the artist's name. So artist 1 is that right there. And that is the answer that we see right here, R4W8173. So raw for string is what we, or R4W is what we searched for as a string. In this particular portion right here, I just did Control F and then I searched for R4W, and then that's what I was able to find. So go to packet 12 and read the comments. What is the answer? So let's actually do go and then go to packet, and then we're going to go to packet 12 now, and then there it is. And I want the comment, so I'm just going to go right here, packet comments. This is not a flag. This is not a flag. Is there anything at the end of that? No, there's not. Let's scroll down, and there's something at the bottom. I'm sure of it. So if we go down here, too much, let me see, where is it? Okay, so now that we're in the full screen mode right here, it's easier to just kind of make this full screen a little bit. And now you can actually see the packet comment. And so what we have over here is that it says go to packet 39765 and look at the packet details pane. Right click on the JPEG section and X something. And let's see, export packet. And export packet, what, bytes? Export packet bytes, is that what that says? Okay, so 39, I think that's all that we get, right? So 39765, that's all we get. So let's go over here, and then we'll go to packet 39765, right? That's what it was. 39765, go to the packet details, and then look at the JPEG. And then export packet something. So let's go down here and let's find the JPEG. So JPEG file exchange format. You can see this. Oh my gosh. So export packet bytes, I think, is what I'm supposed to be doing. Let me see if there's anything useful for me here. Doesn't seem to be export packet. So let's right click on that. Export packet bytes right here. Click on that. And then we got that. So we will save it as whatever, bytes. I'll save it as that. Save it on the desktop. And now we have it here. Open this thing. And let's see. This is the packet bytes. So what am I looking for? What's the answer that what are we looking for? What is the answer? So this looks like the hash value of something. So I'm guessing we're supposed to get the hash value of this. So let me make sure I'm looking at this right here. Packet bytes we have right here. Okay, so the hint doesn't really give us much in this regard. It just says go to the packet comment to view the comment. And then remember, you can also use statistics, capture file properties to view the available comments. So that doesn't give us much. So what we need to do, from what I understand, because it says in the comment, it says export packet bytes, and then I did, and then we got that image. And this image really doesn't give us anything apart from, you know, whatever this random ass, whatever the hell this image is right here. If I click on details, still don't get anything. So we're going to close this. And from what I understand, really the only thing that is left for me, so let's do properties and see if we, yeah, same thing, doesn't give me anything. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to open a terminal. I'm going to I'll do an ls command real quick just to see where we're at. And pwd also shows me where I'm at. I need to go to the desktop to actually see my file, which is right there, the bytes file that we can see right here. So I will do, from what I understand, because the answer that I got, and it's been a very long time since I've done this room, the answer that I got looks like a hash value. So we can kind of do this like SHA-1 sum, and then do the bytes. And then that's what that looks like. We can do MD5 sum and do bytes. That's the MD5. We can also do SHA-256 sum bytes. Come on, there we go. So this is the answer right here, because it's the 911 da 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 da. That's the answer that we got. So it's the MD5 hash value, and you can essentially do whatever the name of the algorithm is, and then just do sum at the end of it. So SHA-1 sum, MD5 sum, SHA-256 sum. And as you can see, they get longer and longer the more complex the hash value is. And so in this particular case, the MD5 is the one that I recognize from the answers. So that is the answer. And that is what we got right here, 911, and it ends with EBF. So the question is kind of confusing. It's a little bit misleading. It's like, what is the answer? And it's like, I don't know. Like you're not asking me specifically what you want me to get for your answer. So I think the last time that I did this, I may have actually read on some documentation to see that they actually wanted us to find the hash value. And then so that's how you pull the hash values of any given file. So the big thing was that it said export the sum, right? Or not export the sum. It said export the bytes. So when you go here and when you click on the actual the comment that we had on packet 12, it said go to this packet number and then export the bytes. And then when you look at this, you go to the JPEG section, which is what we have right here. And oh, you know what? These are, hold on, dissection is not implemented. These all look like sums too, but these are not the sums. No, these are not the sums that it's looking for. Okay, whatever. Anyways, so it said export the bytes. So we went to the actual JPEG portion of the packet, 39,765. We went to the JPEG portion at the bottom, right click on this thing, export packet bytes, and then it exported it as our JPEG that we see right here, this JPEG file on the desktop. That's what it exported as. And then you just open up your terminal, go to the desktop, and then run the MD5 sum, and you'll be able to get that value for yourself. Now, let's see, there is a .txt file inside the capture file. Find the file and read it. What is the alien's name? And so this was part of the export objects portion. So if we go here, export objects, and inside of the capture file, so I'll try the HTTP protocol first, and then we can see that there My God, these are all exports that we can do. These are objects that we have. Holy cow. So let's do a text fill. I'll do a .txt. Okay, this is the only one. No, txt. This is the only one that I'm going to do. So I'm going to save this one. And then we'll do Note.txt, and we're going to put it on the desktop as well. And then save that. So just to give you an idea, over here, you can actually filter what you want from all of the objects. And literally, there are so many freaking objects. There's like thousands of objects inside of this thing. So I obviously don't want to save all of them. So I'm just going to do .txt because they said it's a .txt file. And then we can see that it's packet 4267 and it has the note.txt attached to it. So now that we have that, we can now go and look at the note.txt. And I can simply do it without even having to open it. We can do cat note.txt. And okay. There is that. Let's see. Packet master is the name of the alien that we see right here. Okay, great. So there is that. Packet master would be the name of the alien, which is what we have over here. And then look at the expert info section. What is the number of warnings? So we're going to go here. We're going to open up the WireShark one more time. And if you remember, expert info is like right down here. It's that that red button right here. Click on that and it'll open up the expert warning. And then we can see right here. So the number of warnings, so I can go all the way to the end and then we can see that there is 1,636 warnings. The warning is in yellow that you can see right here. So 1636, and that is the answer that we see right there. So that's how we were able to retrieve all of these answers. So now let's go to packet filtering. WireShark has a powerful filter engine that helps you narrow down the traffic and focus on the event of interest. It has two types of filtering approaches, capture and display filters. Capture filters are used for capturing the traffic and only packets valid for the used filter. Display filters are used for viewing packets valid for the used filter. So we will discuss these filters and the advances in the next room, which would be the next room in the WireShark series, which I've done a video on. So if you're curious about that, you can just search for WireShark on the channel homepage and you'll be able to find the video for packet filtering. For now, we're going to look at the basic usage of display filters. We will help you a lot. So filters are specific queries designed for protocols available in WireShark's protocol reference. While the filters are only an option to investigate the event of interest, there are two ways to filter traffic and remove the noise from the capture file. The first one uses queries, and the second one uses the right-click menu. WireShark provides a powerful GUI, and there is a golden rule for analysts who don't want to write queries for basic tasks. If you can click on it, you can filter and copy it. So we can actually apply a packet as a filter. It's very, very interesting to think about. Or a portion of the packet as a filter. So what they've done here is they've clicked on the source. They've right-clicked on source and then apply as filter and then the selected portion. And then you can see that right here is ip.source equals and then the actual IP address. So each one of these columns that you can see here can be implemented as a filter. So I can click on this, right click on that IP address, the destination address, and apply it as a filter, and then apply the selected as a filter. And then we can see that IP destination has now been changed to this, and I'm only seeing out of the this is the full screen version, so we can go here. I'm only seeing out of the 58,620 addresses or packets, out of the 58,620 packets, I can see that there's 28,984 of them are displayed that all have the destination IP address that we see here, 10.10.57.178. So you can take any portion of these things and apply them as filters. And if you want to wipe it, you can just click on that X, and then it'll remove it, and then everything will adjust again, and you'll be looking at the full list. So that's how you apply something as a filter from any given packet. There's another filter called the conversation filter. So when you use apply as filter, you will filter only a single entity of the packet. This option is a good way of investigating a particular value in packets. However, suppose you want to investigate a specific packet number and all the linked packets by following on IP addresses and port numbers. In that case, the conversation filter helps you view only the related packets and hide the rest of the packets. You can use the right-click menu or analyze conversation filter menu to filter conversation. So again, you would click on something and then you would go to conversation filter, and then you want the TCP conversation, for example, the TCP version of this conversation, and then it modifies it into a really big filter that you can see here. So in this one, the IP address equals 145 and IP address equals this. So these two both have to be present, and the TCP port needs to be 3372 and TCP port equals 80. So it shows you these two IP addresses. So both of these IP addresses have to be present and both of these ports have to be present. And then all of a sudden you only see the stuff that's relevant to them, meaning that it went from, this is for HTTP 1. So let's actually go look at the one that we have right here. So we'll take this one, and then we'll do conversation filter. We'll do a TCP conversation filter, and then we can see that that has been, that's crazy. It's still 28,000 freaking packets. Jesus. So, but you can see right here. So you can see IP address equals this as well as this. So both of them have to be present, and TCP port equals 80 and 48,924. And still, even all of that considered, we have 58,000 that are total, and then we have displayed 28,000. So I guess those two, this set of data that we see right here is in a lot of freaking packets. So you can colorize the conversation. So it's similar to the conversation filter with one difference. It highlights the linked packets without applying a display filter and decreasing the number of viewed packets. So it'll just highlight them. This option works with the coloring rules option and changes the packet colors without considering the previously applied color rule. You can use right-click menu or view colorized conversation menu to colorize a linked packet in a single click. Note that you can use the view colorized conversation reset colorization to undo this particular operation. So colorize conversation instead of conversation filter, colorize conversation, TCP, and then choose a color, and then you can see that it will colorize every part of it without actually decreasing the number of packets that are displayed. And then you can just go colorize conversation one more time. So view, colorize conversation, and then reset colorization, and it puts it back to normal. Prepare as a filter, very similar to apply as a filter. This will help you create display filters using the right-click menu. However, unlike the previous one, this model doesn't apply the filters after the choice. It adds the required query to the pane and waits for the execution command, which is you just pressing enter, or another chosen filtering option by using the and or from the right-click menu. So it'll actually add it up here, but it won't press enter. And so what you can do is you can then use and after this. So you can say IP source equals this and IP or you know, the destination port equals whatever. So you can combine two queries together. So if we go back to our section here and clear this out, I can do this. I'll right click on that and I'll say prepare as filter, and then we'll prepare that so we can see that the IP address is now here. And so which one was it? 133. And then so we can do protocol, let's see, port. We'll do this. We'll do and, whoops, DST dest port. Is that what it is? How you do dest to port? DST port equals 80. Is that right? Let me see. I forget the syntax for destination port. So let's look at what this one showed us here. And TCP port, I see. So TCP port is what I'm looking for. So it's not destination port. I'm looking for TCP port. TCP port, there you go. So you can do IP address equals this and TCP port equals 80 and then press enter. Now it actually applies that filter, and then there's still 28,000 freaking packets. So that's not, it doesn't really narrow it down a lot, but at the very least you can prepare a specific piece as a filter and then modify that and then press enter, right? So that's the way that would be useful to create filters by combining two strategies, by doing the right-click menu and then typing up your own. And then you can do an apply as column. So the packet list pane provides basic information about each packet. You can use the right click menu or analyze and apply as column to add columns to the packet list. Once you click on a value and apply it as a column, it will be visible in the packet list pane. This function helps analysts examine the appearance of a specific value field across the available packets in the capture file. So you can enable, disable the columns shown in the packet list by clicking on top of the packet list pane. So you go here in the bottom right here, and you can take something, for example, IPv4 as the type. You can right click on that and then do apply as column. And then what happens is that you actually get a new column called IPv4. And then now you can do IPv4, you can do IPv6. As you scroll through it, you can see what type of Ethernet or what type of data packet you're looking at, just based on the fact that you added a type right here. It's a type. And then the field information here is IPv4. So now you can actually look at it via the column stream, right? Or the column view, excuse me. Then we have follow stream. So WireShark displays everything in packet portion size. However, it's possible to reconstruct the streams and view the raw traffic as it is presented at the application level. Following the protocol, streams help analysts recreate the application level and application level data and understand the level of interest. It is also possible to view the unencrypted protocol data like username, password, and other transfer data. So you can use right-click menu, analyze, follow TCP, UDP, HTTP stream, and then follow the traffic streams. Streams are shown in separate dialog box. Packets originating from the server are highlighted with blue, and those originating from the client are highlighted with red. We started looking at streams as we were going through the previous video that we did, trying to look at the difference between regular protocols and secure protocols, and what it looks like when you see something. For example, this is not the secure protocol, the encrypted version of something. This is the plain text version of an HTTP packet, because you can actually see this, right? If it was encrypted, this would all be a bunch of jargon, like just a bunch of random characters and letters, which we wouldn't be able to make sense of with the naked eye. So once you follow a stream, WireShark automatically creates and applies the required filter to view the specific stream. Once a filter is applied, the number of the view packets will change. You will need to use the X button to get rid of the filter, whatever. Okay, so go to the packet number 4. Right-click on the hypertext transfer protocol and apply it as a filter. Now look at the filter pane. What is the filter query? So, I mean, that one is kind of a gimme, but we'll go here. So we'll do go to packet, and then go to packet number 4. And so we're here. And then we're going to right click on this. So this is what we see right here in this section right here. We're going to right click on that, and we're going to apply it as a filter. Select it. Is that's what they said, right? Is it filter or column? Yeah, apply it as a filter. So you apply it as a filter, and then you can see up here. So what is the filter? Is HTTP. So that's what we get right here. So what is the filter query? And we see that here it's HTTP. Now, what is the number of displayed packets? So when you do that, what's the number of displayed packets? And we can see that at the bottom right here, and that is 1,089. So finally, we got down to less than 28,000. Very nice. Okay, so 1,089 is the total number of the displayed packets. Go to packet 33790 and follow the stream. What is the total number of artists? So 33790 and follow the stream. So let's go here. We're going to go to packet 33790, press enter, and then we're going to right click on the packet. We are going to follow right here. So right click, follow TCP stream, and it will open this up for me. And now I need the total number of artists. So we got to go down here and look at the number of artists. So we can see get HTTP response was okay. And then we got that. And then get categories, and response was okay, and it gave me the categories. And then we're going to do get artists. So there we go. Get artists, HTTP response was okay. So now I need the number of artists that have been sent to me. And get categories again. And list products, okay. And then show image, okay. And so this is the TCP stream, which seems to be encrypted. So this is not the version that we're looking for here. So we want the 33790. So we're going to go to this one more time. So go to packet 33790, and we got that. And I'm just going to X this out as well. So go to packet 33790, right click one more time, go to follow. And instead of TCP stream, I'm going to do HTTP stream. And this should, there you go. Now actually I can see the content. It was a good way to show you the difference. So the first one that you saw when we went TCP, we saw all of the encrypted data. And none of this stuff was making sense before. It was all basically encryption, right? You couldn't even see any of this data. So none of this stuff was useful for me. So now I can go down to the portion where it says get artists. And we can try to get the artist information. So get artists, there we go. So get artists. Let's kind of zoom in on this for you a little bit. So now we're going to the get artists request here, and the stuff in red is the request that's being made, and in the blue is the response. And so now I need to actually count the number of artists that I can see here. So we will go here, and let me see if I can't filter this, but I can find something. So let me see, we'll just do artist. And then find next, and artist title. Okay, that's great. So let's go to the next one. Artist PHP. Okay, that's great. Artist. Okay. Artist 1. So this is artist 1. Next. And next. Artist 2. Next. Artist 3. Next. That's it. So there were 3. There were 3 artists that were listed. So if we come over here, we can see that there are 3 artists that are listed. Very good. Okay, so what is the name of the second artist? So we can go over here one more time. And let me do this follow one more time and look at the HTTP stream. And then we need to just find the artist 2. So I believe it was artist equals 2. I think that's what it was. So do find next, and then we have artist 2 right here. Boom. So artist equals 2, and he's Blade. So BLAD, and then the number 3, and that was this guy right here. So great. And that's it, actually. We are now at the conclusion. So we'll go through this. I'll give you a couple of final notes real quick, and then we are officially wrapped. Okay, so hopefully you found this video useful. If you want to find the other videos on WireShark, I do recommend that you actually check out the content of the channel. So you can literally go to the channel itself, and you can go to the homepage right here that we see, click on this button, which is this search button right here, and then you can just type in WireShark, and then you'll be able to find all of the content that's available for WireShark. And you can see that there's a lot of content that's available for WireShark, and we've used it in a lot of cases, and then T-Shark, which is the command line version of it. So there's a lot of good stuff for WireShark. And I think that it would be beneficial to you if you actually looked at it. After a while, it just turns into Brim and these various other tools like Mimikatz and stuff like that. And Mimikatz, I feel like there was something that I did in the tags maybe, and what's happening is that it's showing the tags that are for these videos, and that's why WireShark is coming up. But the ones that actually have a shark, so this guy that you see, that's a shark right there, that's a shark, that's a shark, that's a shark, there's a shark right here, T-Shark, right? So the ones that have a shark are the ones that have to do with WireShark. And then you'll definitely be able to find the video that they were referencing when they're like, we're going to look at this in the next video, so on and so forth. That's what they were talking about. So that's how you can find all of the other videos on the channel that have to do with WireShark. If you would like to get more videos like this one, or if you want to get future videos on the CySec101 training series or the CySec101 playlist that we have over here, I do recommend that you like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and of course, drop a comment. I am very much active in the comment section that we have over here. And I love when people reach out, and it means the world to me when I actually hear from you. If you have any questions, I'll respond to your comments or your questions in the comments. If it's a really big question, like what Darnell Knight gave us, and I reference this guy pretty much at every video inside of the CySec101 series, because it was because of him that I was like, okay, we should do an entire playlist on CySec101. And then we went back to the beginning. So that was one of the things that I think is very important to really point out. I really do look at the comments. I look at every comment that comes in. I'm looking at my phone all the time, waiting for new comments to come in, and I respond almost immediately. If it's a quick question, or if you just want to say hi, I'll even respond to you if you want to say hi, if you want to say thanks, whatever it is, right? It means the world to me when I hear comments and when I actually get to interact with you guys. But it's also very important so I can answer the questions that you have. So make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe, you turn on notification bell so you actually get notified when a new video comes out. But then at the same time, drop a comment, because I really do want to hear from you. If you just want to say hi, if you want to say thanks, it's all good. If you really want to say thanks, then I encourage you to join the Hackaholics Anonymous community, even if you do it as a supporter level, because the supporter level is essentially you saying thanks for the content. And it starts at $4.99, and even for the supporter level, you'll get access to me in Discord as well as all of our advanced members in Discord. But then if you want to join and really take this seriously, we have the advanced memberships, which is the Cyber Agent, the Cyber Guardian, as well as the Cyber Master, and those guys get exclusive content every single month. They get exclusive downloads, they get Python automations, they get live streams with me, and for example, the Security Plus training series that's going to come out, they'll get all of the documents and the notes as well as the practice questions and practice examinations as a part of their membership with Hackaholics Anonymous. So if you want to join, you can do so in the link in the description below. You can do so by going to our homepage and clicking the join button, or you can simply go to youtube.com/@HankHacksHackers/join, and you'll be able to join. And I really hope that I see you in the comment section. If very, very awesome to be able to hear from you. If not, in the actual Discord chats that we have for Hackaholics Anonymous. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers. Love, peace, and chicken grease. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. I think this might be the last video that I'm going to record in 2024. I have to do some traveling to go see some family in the next couple of days. If I don't get to record any more videos, then I very much love you guys. And yeah, this is literally December 29th, so I might not be able to record anything, but by the time that this comes out, I think it'll actually be scheduled to drop on either the 30th or 31st of December. So I very much love you guys. I appreciate you guys. This community means a lot to me, more than I can articulate for you, and I'm very, very glad that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you in future videos. So if no one else loves you, Hank loves you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.